attack to a nuclear plant is a suicidal thing, we are moving backwards in relation to disarmament. We have now 13,000 nuclear bombs in the world, and we are seeing huge investments in modernizing nuclear arsenals. So this is the moment to say, stop it.
Shalom. Kol halal, wahawad, la Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Rachak Wadash. The abundance of the elder apostles at Great Millstone who rule well and who have taught his knowledge. Salutations to you, fellow laborers that's doing the work of truth sincerity. Shalom to you and shalom to the few Akwap that believe as well. This is Brother Hardab, come back at you with another lesson. And as you can see from the video clip I played, you know, the nuclear arms race is a concern for a lot of the countries. And, you know, it's finally getting real to most people that a nuclear confrontation is very likely. So, you had the Cold War, which started, I believe the official year was 1950. And they say it was first talked about it as far as the, it was reported on in 1945, but 1950 when it officially had begun, the Cold War between USSR, which is called Russia today. When it was the USSR, it was the United Soviet States of Russia, when it included, a lot of those surrounding countries around Russia, and they were up against or had tensions with so-called America, which is Babylon the Great. And though they fought together in World War II, they still had enmity between both of them. So the book of Revelation, chapter 9, verse 12, it says, "One woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter." And the word woe, keep in mind, it means destruction. So the first destruction would be World War I, and then the second woe would be World War II, and then the third woe, which we're in the beginning stages of World War III, right, is brewing before our very eyes. All right. In the nuclear arms race, well, the nuclear weapons, all right, were created for the Most High's purpose. All right. Let's get that real quick. Isaiah 54:16, and this is a thing of repetitions. So if it seems like the same precepts are coming out, well, hey, it's a thing of repetitions, And so on the subject matter, hey, we gotta understand that it's all about prophecy. And prophecy states that this place is going to go out, which is Babylon the Great, so-called America. And we know that it's going to be turned into a lake of fire too, by the way. And what's going to create that? The missiles. This is Isaiah 54:16. "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals and the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy." So the smiths, a representation of the scientists, all right, that the Lord put on their minds on how to create the missiles. And after World War II, you had the fall of Germany. A lot of those German scientists went to America and Russia, and then you had this major major race to build nuclear weapons. All right, during World War II, it was during a time when the world first seen the country get hit with bombs. All right, let's get that. Because Esau did that, right? So, Esau pretty much had the countries, I'm sorry, in the plural sense, in fear when he dropped those bombs on Japan. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, in verse 12. It says, "And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed." And that's going into the Roman Empire. When it fell, that's that deadly wound. But the deadly wound was healed. All right, when the Renaissance, basically the Renaissance was the Roman Empire coming back, because the same people that ruled as the Romans before it became the Holy Roman Empire, of course, because that's when Jake took over. Which was the Edomites, before it became the Holy Roman Empire. And pretty much that system, all right, which you could say it stemmed from the Greeks too, because the Greeks transitioned into the Romans. They were the same nation of people, all right, the Edomites. Idumea, same thing. But that system, in the way that they structured its society, is back through America. All right. Verse 13, it says, "And he doth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men." So, who did that? All right, that was Esau. He rained fire upon Japan. The main two cities that people talk about is Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But there were other cities as well. All right. But the point being is that he rained those, he dropped those bombs on them. All right, which those bombs messed those Ammonites up to this very day. All right, so let's go from there. All right, speaking about fire, let's go to Isaiah 66 and 15. It says, "For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire." All right, so we know that the Lord won't come with his chariots, with the angels in them. But another component, all right, of how the Lord is going to come is with that fire. And that fire, all right, ultimately is those missiles. All right. And it's in all caps. So the Most High is going to cause this, okay? The Most High Yahweh himself. All right, so verse 16, it says, "For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many." So, again, what's going to rate those, or that fire? The missiles. Now, let's go from there. Speaking about the missiles, right? Let's go back to the book of Revelation, chapter 9. We're going to scroll down a bit to about 16. Okay, so this is Revelation 9 and 16. It says, "And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them." Now, that's the many missiles that the Lord is going to rain on this place. And you could do the math on your own. All right, 200,000. All right. It says, "And thus I saw verse 17, and thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and brimstone. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. It says, by these three was the third part of men killed, by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. This is talking about what the missiles are going to do. They're going to create that fire and smoke and brimstone, right? And keep in mind that the missiles get up to 1,000,000 degrees. All right, that's pure fire for your ass, so to speak. Excuse my French. Verse 19, it says, for their power is in their mouth and in their tails. For their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. So the power is in their mouth. Now, when you look at the missile, what's the main thing or the most important part of the missile? It'd be the warhead. All right. That's the main power of the missile, the warhead, which is the mouth or the front of the missile. All right. And the tails, you got the propellers and the fuel and the engine and all that good stuff, right? But the main part of the missile that makes or creates that boom is the warhead. All right, that's the part that makes that big impact. All right, and we know that the missiles, all right, we already know that the missiles were created for the Lord's purpose, and the Lord has purpose, excuse me, the Lord has purposed them to be shot into the ends of the earth. All right, let's go to that. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16 and verse 13. Right, these missiles are going to be shot. All right, and ain't no one going to be able to, drive those missiles back, man. All right. 2nd Ezra 16 and 13. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. They go to pierce through the air, man, and hit his mark. All right. Here, right here in Babylon, the great so-called America. All right, the land of Israel. You got various targets of whom the Lord having in sight. All right, they have placed a mark upon them or targeted these places because we know that the Heavenly Father has a righteous purpose behind everything He do. All right, everything the Most High do is just and righteous, man. And this place right here is Babylon the Great, the great city of confusion. All right, and this place has a lot to pay for. All right, a lot. All right, and we know according to Revelation the 18th chapter, it says her sins have reached into heaven. All right, we became a sinful nation, and so hey, Esau, what about your nation? All right, your nation is a simple kingdom, man. Like I said, hey, the nation of Israel, we became a simple kingdom, and how much more the wicked, which is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, begin with your central banker families. So when those missiles are shot onto your kingdom, all right, which you love so much, you're gonna know just why it is being destroyed, right, the way it's going to be destroyed. So let's continue on. It says, I'm gonna jump down to verse 16. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer, returning not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon earth shall not return again. And we know that, hey, when the missiles come out of the silos That's it. All right. All bets are off. All right. We're going to see those missiles fly in the air, and they're not going to return into those silos. All right. They're going to hit its mark again. So let's go from there to the book of Joel. All right. This is the book of Joel. And this is the book of Joel, chapter 2, I'm going to start at verse 4. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. Excuse me. Voice a little raspy. Let me read that again. It says, Joel 2 and 4. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap. Like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Before their face the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness. And that's going to happen too. When they see those missiles, people going to lose it, man. Verse 7. It says, they shall run like mighty men, they shall climb the wall like men of war, and they shall march every one on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. You know why? Because the Most High is going to guide those missiles to hit his mark. And remember too, hey, you gotta keep this in mind. The Most High is a consuming fire. He's going to consume this place. All right. Doesn't it say that in the book of let's go there, Isaiah 14. Excuse me. Isaiah 14, verse 22. It says, "For I will rise up against them, said the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord, Yehovah Shem Yahushua." And we know that this is Babylon, all right, not the old Babylonian kingdom that stood, which is modern day Iraq. We know that that place is still inhabited. Remember, keep in mind that Babylon will not be inhabited again. All right, Iraq is still being inhabited by the Iraqis. Okay, verse 23. I will also make it a possession for the bittern in pools of water, and I will sweep it with the besom of destruction, saith the Lord of hosts. So, hey, the Lord has you in mind, all right, Esau, because you're the one that's ruler over Babylon, which is known as the daughter of Babylon in Psalms the 137th chapter. All right, it mentions Edom and it mentions daughter of Babylon. Okay, the Lord is going to sweep your precious kingdom, in your eyes at least, with a besom of destruction. All right, verse 24. The Lord of hosts has sworn, saying, surely as I have thought, so shall it come to pass, and as I have purposed, so shall it stand. So, hey, that's the Most High letting you know that, hey, he's going to take you out for sure, man. All right. And by the way, when those missiles hit, right? When the missiles hit, you know what it's going to do? It's going to cause the earth to reel to and fro like a drunkard. Let's get that. Isaiah 24. And I'm starting 18. It says, and it shall come to pass that he who fleeth from the noise of the fear shall fall into the pit. And he that cometh out of the midst of the pit shall be taken in the snare. For the windows from on high are open, and the foundations of the earth do shake. The earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. That's a lot right there, right? Exceedingly means, a lot, or what's another word for a lot? That's one word, greatly, all right? Exceedingly or greatly, right? You keep it simple, right? Verse 20, the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage. So what's going to cause the earth to reel to and fro like a drunkard? The impact of the missiles hitting, all right? Again, 200,000. You do the math, right? And you see what number you come up with. That's how many missiles are going to be shot, man. See? Oh, Shalaki. You know, that's a great deal of missiles. You know, this is 2 Peter 3:10. It says, "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up." Yeah, that fervent heat is the missiles. All right, 1,000,000 degrees. Ooh, man, man. It only take what roughly, I forget how many degrees it take to burn a body. I want to say somewhere between 3 to 5,000 degrees. They cremate you. But continuing on, it says, verse 11, "Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons are ye to be in all holy conversations and godliness?" So, hey, for sure those missiles are going to come. And what's going to be clean dissolved is, number one, being Babylon the Great, so-called America, right? The Lord is going to even cleanse our land by fire, right, which is the land of Israel. It says, verse 12, "Looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of the Most High, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat." Yeah, that heat is going to come from those missiles. All right, and you're going to know when the missiles hit, because you know why? The impact of the missiles is going to create a mushroom cloud. All right, great big mushroom clouds, all in one. They simultaneously, one after another, hit this place. Let's go from there to Isaiah 34. Right. Isaiah 34, and go right to the point, verse 4. It says, "And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down as a leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig tree, as a falling fig from the fig tree." So that's what you would call a mushroom cloud. All right. And when the prophet Isaiah seen it, he compared it to a scroll. That's the terminology he used at that time. But keep in mind, this is a transliteration as well. So he in the vision he's seen it looking like a scroll. All right. Which today you would say a mushroom cloud from the impact of those missiles. All right, this is what Isaiah seen in the vision. He's seen Babylon the Great being destroyed. All right, he's seen it in the vision, this place again swept with that besom of destruction. Okay, and this is what we are patiently waiting on. It says, verse 5, "For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment." And the Most High have a great judgment for you, Esau. Remember that the Most High didn't promise any mercy to the nation of Esau, Edom. All right, and you can find that in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. All right, verse 6, the sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, and with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath the sacrifice in Bozrah, and the great slaughter in the land of Idumea. So, we know that Bozrah is, today, all right, being that Bozrah, pertaining to Mount Seir, and anytime it mentions Mount Seir, it's talking about the people of Mount Seir that dwelt at Mount Seir. That was not the Anakims. Somebody, one of them theologians may say, "Oh, the Anakims lived there." Yeah, they was pushed out. And who possessed that land? All right, it's talking about the people of the nation of Esau, Edom. All right, and they one of the capital cities, which is the main capital city, was Bozrah. Right. Let's get that real quick. So I don't want to bring that up and not prove, what I'm saying, right? Scripture say, prove all things. Genesis 36 and verse 8, thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. So when it says Seir, like in Ezekiel 35th chapter, it's talking about the people of Seir, which is Esau, Edom. All right, it pertains to you Edomites. Verse 9, and these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites in Mount Seir. So it's talking about you Edomites, man. And the main capital of your rulership or age is America. This is that golden city. You see? And your golden city won't be golden anymore. All right, when the Most High destroys it, man. All right. So with that, I want to close. Lord willing, this video was edifying. And until the next video, I want to say to all you Akim out there, Shalom.